This episode of the Young Turks is brought to you by Squarespace.
Jon Stewart goes on Fox News Sunday with Chris Wallace, and he is in a combative mood. Now, they, of course, have been looking to lay this trap for a long time. They know Jon Stewart's going to come on, so they're ready, and they're ready to go, we got you, right? Well, so they get into a little battle. Let's see how they did. Let's watch.
The bias of the mainstream media is towards sensationalism, conflict, and laziness.
You take your own shot recently at Sarah Palin. You compared her video of her One Nation bus tour to a certain commercial. Sarah Palin and her herpes drug? Really?
Yeah, as a technique for the commercial? So you're saying that by comparing the technique that she used in her video to a technique used in a herpes commercial,
you were not making a political comment.
You really think that's a political comment?
Yes.
You're insane. Yeah, here's the difference between you and I. I'm a comedian first. My comedy is informed by an ideological background. There's no question about that.
That is your dodge. Stewart is never held accountable in his media criticism, is he? When he is wrong, he goes into the tap dance of saying he's only a comedian and shouldn't be taken seriously.
Let's talk about that. When did I say to you, I'm only a comedian? I said I'm a comedian first. That's not only. Being a comedian is harder than what you do. Are you suggesting that you and I are the same? Are you suggesting that, what am I at my highest aspiration and what are you at your highest aspiration?
I think,
tell me.
Honestly, I think you want to be a political player.
You are wrong. Embarrassment is that I'm given credibility in this world because of the disappointment that the public has in what the news media does.
I don't think
not because I have an ideological agenda.
I don't think our viewers are the least bit disappointed with us.
Who is the most consistently misinformed media viewers? The most consistently misinformed? Fox. Fox viewers. Consistently. Every poll.
All right, so Huffington Post put together a nice collection to give you a sense of that interview. One thing they didn't put in there because Fox News edited it out was Jon Stewart referenced to Bill Salmon in the emails that he sent. Now, he was one of the people in charge of news, one of the executives in charge of news for Fox, and he sent out memos, and those memos were eventually leaked, where he said, all right, now let's call Obama a Marxist and a socialist. And then people like Media Matters tracked, after those memos were sent, they went back and looked at the tapes, and lo and behold, on Fox and Friends and other so-called news shows on their channel, let me give you one more example, and there are plenty. It is a program called Fox Live Desk, and that is a news program. Next thing you know, of course, not only is Bill Salmon coming on himself to call Obama a Marxist, but the anchors, etc., start talking about, is Barack Obama a Marxist? We should have a discussion about whether Barack Obama is a Marxist. Having nothing to do with, I'm sure, the memo that your boss sent you to start that talking point. And then later, Bill Salmon, by the way, said that when he first started talking about it, he was largely making it up, but that it stuck so well that he was surprised after the Obama administration came into office that he began to think maybe it was true. Well, are you not merciful for telling us that your lie in the first place that you spread through all the Fox News shows, then later you began to believe yourself. Wow, right? So that is what part of what Jon Stewart's referring to, and Chris Wallace sits there with a smug smile on his face like, oh, please, like we would ever be biased or anything. While, by the way, admitting, as you saw right there in the tape, our viewers aren't disappointed. They know exactly what they get. And at one point he said, they get the opposite view, meaning they get the conservative view. Okay, then why don't you stop calling your network fair and balanced? Because obviously you don't even think so. You're their main so-called news anchor for their main Sunday talk show, and you don't think the network is fair and balanced at all. You think you're presenting the other side, the conservative side. So doesn't that prove Jon Stewart right? And when you go to Jon Stewart's larger criticism of the media, well, I think that's true too. And that goes to the point of whether what Jon Stewart is doing is comedy or not comedy, if it's politically laced or not. First of all, Stewart is very honest. He says, I come at it from a certain perspective, and I don't deny that, right? My comedy comes at it from that perspective. But is it comedy? Well, of course it is. He makes jokes, people laugh at it, right? And the reason that it's funny is because it's so damn true, right? And the reason that people have started taking him seriously, and this is the important point that Stewart's making about the media, I think the media generally misses, right? And that's not just about Fox News. He's saying people are coming to me and giving me credibility because it appears that we are presenting the reality of it. If they got that reality elsewhere on cable news, on mainstream media, etc., well, then we would just be considered comedians. So, oh, they're making fun of reality, it's funny, etc. But it seems like people are starved for that reality, and they're coming to us, a comedy show, to get it. He is absolutely right about that. There's no question about it. And when he goes to his point specifically about Fox News and how misinformed they are, the viewers, well, that's a fact. There's was actually a study done by Program on International Policy Attitudes about Fox News viewers on Iraq on almost every single issue, whether Saddam had connections to Al-Qaeda, whether Saddam had weapons of mass destruction. Even after the war, even after Bush said he does not have weapons of mass destruction, we didn't find it. Fox News viewers were consistently more ignorant than the rest of the country, still claiming things that were patently untrue. When you go to worldpublicopinion.org from the University of Maryland, look at these devastating numbers. Economists estimate that the stimulus created more jobs, right? And these are independent, nonpartisan, etc. And the numbers are a little over 1 million jobs created by the stimulus. Fox News viewers, of course, were 12% on average less likely to know the facts about that. And then you go down the list. Economists have estimated that the health care law will actually, and this is not just an estimate, it is fact. Congressional Budget Office, again, nonpartisan, etc. It will not worsen the deficit, it'll make the deficit better. How uninformed were Fox News viewers about that? 31 points more uninformed than the average viewer. Why? Because Fox News keeps telling them, oh, deficit out of control, this healthcare law deficit. It makes it seem like the healthcare law actually added to the deficit, when it does not. It does the opposite. It actually takes away from the deficit. Fox News viewers don't know that because they got fed propaganda. You go down the list, the economy is getting worse, they think, by 26 points. Wrong. Now look, the economy's got massive troubles. I talk about it all the time. But as a matter of adding jobs, it has been adding jobs, not reducing jobs. By the standards of the recession, et cetera, the economy's been getting better. I wish it did better than that. But if you think that the economy has been actually getting worse under Obama, well, that's just flat out not true. You don't know the facts. You're ignorant because you watch Fox News. All right, more. Scientists do not agree that climate change is occurring. That's what Fox News viewers believe. 30% more than the average viewer. Again, not true. 97% of the world's scientists say climate change actually is happening. Again, an indisputable fact. Stimulus legislation did not include any tax cuts. Fox viewers believe that 14% more than other viewers. A third of it was tax cuts. That's not economists think, is the economy improving? Is that objective or subjective? It's in the bill. A third of it was tax cuts, right? And Fox News viewers go, well, I don't know. That's not what, Brett Baer told me. That's not what Chris Wallace told me. That's not what Bill O'Reilly told me. No, no, it had no tax cuts. Well, you are wrong. You're demonstrably ignorant because you watch Fox News. That's part of what Jon Stewart was pointing out, and he's backed up by the facts. By the way, I've got a list that is twice as long as what I read you. I don't want to bore you with how incredibly wrong Fox News viewers are, because executives hand down memos to their anchors, including their so-called news anchors, telling them to misinform people. By the way, another one, there was another leaked memo from inside Fox News, a news executive telling all the anchors, stop calling it healthcare proposal by the administration or by the Democrats, start calling it Obamacare. And lo and behold, all of a sudden, all their anchors start calling it Obamacare. That's not a news anchor. That's an opinion. And look, I've said this a million times. I don't have any problem with Bill O'Reilly saying, I'm a conservative, I do a conservative show. God bless, nothing wrong with that. I'm a progressive, I do a progressive show. But when they have their so-called news anchors taking Republican talking points and presenting them as part of the news and saying Obamacare on the news, well, that's not a news program. That's a slanted propaganda, and they are getting it from the Republican Party, which Roger Ailes nearly runs. Chris Christie admitted, the governor of New Jersey, that Roger Ailes is one of his advisors, and hence he doesn't have to reveal information that they discussed. Fox News gave $1 million to the Republican Governors Association, and the list goes on and on. Again, Jon Stewart for the win, Fox News for the fail. If you want to build a website or a blog, where do you go? You go to squarespace.com.
With Squarespace, you don't need any coding experience, and the best part is you can even edit your website on your iPhone.
They give you 24/7 support.
Go to squarespace.com/TYT and get a 2-week trial for free.